Hello again, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope that you are doing super fantastic. And I get on here a lot and I talk about the nature of reality and all of that. And please understand, loved one, I am not a physicist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a physicist. Not even close. Okay. I'm just a spiritual guy looking for the answers. But it's nice when you've got some kind of scientific backing, something that you can put your hands on, something tangible that you can say, this it backs up what I have experienced in my spiritual awakening, right? Like 10 years ago, I had a very profound experience, okay? I was outside of my body. Now, I can't even say that for sure. I was not here. Was I completely outside of my body? I don't know. I know that I know that I was to the point where paramedics were working on me and they had given up and were like, well, this guy's gone, right? Now, how did I come back? I kicked my leg or something. Or they said I did something, which told them, crap, do it again. So they hit me again and I came back. But anyway, after a while, my memory came back to me and I realized I was conscious during that time. No, I wasn't floating overhead, watching them work on me and all that kind of stuff. Like those are usually the stories you hear. I was in. Only thing I can describe it would be as the quantum realm, in the quantum field, meaning where everything is potential. It's unmanifested potentiality, just like in the double slit experiment. What the double slit experiment tells us is that when that particle is being sent at the wall with the two slits, slit A and slit B, and then there's a screen on the back. Is the particle going to go through slit A or slit B? Well, when they were not observing it, when they just turned the machine on and went away, and they came back, it appeared as though it went through both slits at the same time. It was as if, like if you take a pebble and you drop it into water and it creates a ripple. And then that ripple reaches that wall with the two slits. So that breaks the ripple up. So part of the ripple goes through this slit, part of the ripple goes through that slit. And then on the other side, they then interact. I'm all up in the way. I'll interact. I think I do that every time I do this little thing. Anyway, so then the ripples then cause a wave pattern on the screen in the back, which is fascinating because it's like, how'd that happen? We sent particles through one at a time. It should have went through this slit and caused a line on the back wall for this one, or this slit and caused a line on the back of the wall for that one. Easy enough. So they set up some kind of detection device, a camera, something, to determine, to watch it and see how did that happen. Well, when they did that, that's when the particles started behaving as expected. They would went through this slit or that slit. No waves. No waves. It means it collapsed to a actual piece of matter and went through one or the other. So what that tells us is that until it was observed, until attention was focused on it, it was just potential. It was potentially here, it was potentially there, it was potentially this, it was potentially that. But it was not manifested anything, nothing solid, until it was observed, until they did put a detector on it, some kind of observation. That's fascinating. And so that helps me with my spiritual awakening to when I look back on that experience that I had in the quantum field, I'm like, okay, so that was not just a black, empty, vast void of just empty space. Because I never felt like it was just an empty void. I just didn't know how to explain it until I found quantum mechanics. Please understand, loved one, I am not a physicist. I am not prepared or qualified to talk about these things. For example, something else I would love to talk about, now, the double slit experiment is easy enough, but something else I'd love to talk about is like the delayed choice quantum eraser, which takes the double slit experiment and then does the delayed choice to it. It's a very complicated, very complex experiment that was done based on John Wheeler's research and stuff. And it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating because it proved, at least in the quantum realm, that you can It proved that you can change causality, meaning you can go back and change history. Well, you can't change where something ended up, but you can change how it got there based on observation after the fact. Please understand, I am not prepared to do that. I will recommend, though, if you want to look into delayed choice quantum eraser. But it's very hard to follow. It is. And yeah. But with regards to spirituality, and it's like, what is all of this? I've said many times, the only thing I can be certain exists, the only thing I can be absolutely certain exists is mind. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, who created mind? I don't know. I don't. I do know that the creator had the aha moment, the big I am moment. We could even call it the Big Bang if we wanted to. I don't care. It's fine. But I do know that the creator had the aha moment. Realized I exist. I am. That's why I am is such a profound statement. That's probably the most profound statement that there is just I am. Because it's like, I am. What are you? I am. I don't know. All I know is that I am. Meaning, here's what we know. We exist. We do. And I know that we exist outside of this based on my own personal experience. And can I prove that? Because a lot of materialists get on. I've even been called a moron in the comments. Oh, you're a moron. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't care. It's like P.T. Barnum said. It doesn't matter what they say about you as long as they spell your name right. Right? So fine. Call me a moron. Just understand. It's Matt Stevens. That's Stevens with a V. Okay? Just get that part right. That's all I need you to do. So, thank you. And I love you. I do. Anyway, loved ones, since we're on the subject, because we're not, please give me a like on this video. I would so appreciate it. And, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to this channel. Hey, at least it's not an AI generated channel. So there's that. Right. Yep. There's that. So getting back to this whole thing about spiritual awakening, I found myself in what I didn't know at the time. I'm just like, well, it's just black. I guess I was just out in space. Right. But so far away that I couldn't see stars. I couldn't see a galaxy. I mean, it was just nothing but black. It was just, right. It's like, and almost like, well, could you have seen your hand in front of your face? It's like, no, because I didn't have a hand. I just existed. I was just mind. It's like, where is mind, right? There's no where there. That's all part of the illusion of this realm that we are in, this reality that we have inserted ourselves into. I believe that we are part of the greater universal mind, universal consciousness, right? Exploring itself. The I am had the aha moment, the I am, I exist, realization, and then began creating in its infinite imagination, created you so that you can then explore whatever it is to explore from your unique perspective. And for me to explore from my unique perspective. And we are now creating more and more and more. It's just about creation. And that lets you know that creation is an ever-present thing. It never stops. It just is. Because every day you are creating, whether you like what you're creating or not. Now that's a whole other thing. And I'm not a big manifestation, live the life of your dreams guru or anything on here. I mean, we do talk about it on here sometimes because it's like, well, if you're going to learn these things, if you're going to learn about the quantum realm and have spiritual and be in some kind of spiritual awakening, and it's like, well, yeah, okay, I've learned all these things. How can I apply that to my actual daily life? It's like, sure, why wouldn't we want to have a better life? Duh, right? Why wouldn't we want to live the life of our dreams, right? But that's one of the beautiful things about like the Double Slit Experiment, for example, is it shows us that where attention goes, energy flows. I mean, that's like scientific evidence of that, right? It shows us that attention must be focused towards something before it becomes manifested. Otherwise, it's just a potential to be something. And I do believe that everything that is a potential is going to be experienced. It's just that, well, the more negative experiences, I mean, unfortunately, some unit of consciousness somewhere is going to have those. And I've got a fly in here. I just saw it zip across my screen. Anyway, so every possible experiences that could potentially happen is going to be experienced by some unit of consciousness, be it you, me, someone else. And that's unfortunate. It is because, well, those negative ones, we know how negative things can be. But the good news is, for you anyway, is that once you become aware of that fact and you're like, well, I'm going to focus my attention on the potentiality that I would rather experience, right? See, that's as far as I go with being a manifestation guru. I'm like, look, here's what I do know. I do know that we focus where our attention is focused is what becomes manifested. And I can back that up with a good old double slit experiment. And then if you really want to get into it, the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment proves that you can even affect the past. But that, as I said, that's something I am not qualified or prepared to talk about. Maybe in the future, once I get a much better handle on the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, at that point, maybe I can talk about it. But I am absolutely certain I would get on here and I would butcher it. Man, I would. I've finally gotten pretty good at talking about double slit, so there's that. Yep. But anyway, loved ones, that's what I do on here. I get on here, I talk about nature of reality. What's it all about? All I can be certain of, the one thing I can be certain of is that mind exists. Everything else, not maybe not. I know a lot of materialists are like, no, the only thing we can be absolutely certain exists is matter, because there it is. It's right here. We got matter. That's kind of true and kind of not, because when you zoom in on an atom and you really get in there, you see that the atom has mostly empty space, right? I mean, when we look at an atom, we see the atom, okay, it's got structure, there it is, okay, cool. And we keep zooming in on it. Eventually we are zoomed on so far in that we are inside the atom now. And we look around, it's like, this is empty space. How was there a structure to this? Right? And then we keep zooming in, we realize this is mostly empty space, and yeah, there may be an electron whipping by here and there. Okay. It's like, what it was described, I can't remember which scientist it was, but they said, to put it in perspective, if the nucleus of an atom was a marble, then an electron would be a speck of dust a half a mile away. And maybe that's accurate, maybe it's not. But because I've heard different things. I've heard, like, if it were a basketball, then the atom would, or if the nucleus were a basketball, then the electron would be a marble so many hundreds of feet away, or whatever it is. Anyway, point is, it's the vastness of the emptiness in an atom is mind-blowing. It's just empty space. It's nothing there. And as I said, when you're zoomed out and you see the atom, it has structure. It would appear to have an outside wall and all that good stuff. And as you zoom in, now you're on the inside of it and you're looking around, you're like, there's no structure to this. There's nothing here. Oh, wait, there is an electron that goes by. Okay, that's a little packet of energy. So let's zoom in on the nucleus. So you keep zooming in and you get in on that nucleus and you're like, this is nothing either. Not anything physical. All it is an oscillating field of energy. It's just a little pocket of energy that is oscillating at a certain rate, at a certain frequency. That's fascinating. And that tells us that all we are is energy. That's it. The whole thing about matter, no. And the only thing that gives that structure to the atom on the outside would be its, I would say, would be its electromagnetic, its electromagnetic field, its field of influence of its electromagnetic field. Kind of like with the solar system, which the solar system freakishly resembles an atom, does it not? With the giant nucleus and then the little electrons scattered about, orbiting it, right? And there is a point where the sun has no influence over matter anymore, right? I forget what that's called. There's a point in space where the sun has no influence anymore. And that is what would be considered the boundary to its influence. And that would be what would be, if we're kind of using it as an analogy, would be the influence of the nucleus of an atom. And that would be its structure, or what would appear to be its structure. There really is no structure. There really is nothing there. That empty space, I mean, a lot of people are really struggling hard to find something to say that something is there. Well, what if nothing's there? What if it is just energy? I mean, I know that would be a hard thing for some people to take, but hey. Anyway, loved ones, that's getting off the subject. But yes, the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment is fascinating, but wow, is it complicated. And I don't know if I'll ever be prepared to talk about that. Maybe we'll just maybe we'll watch a video together on it. That would be good. Maybe we should do that because I am getting the streaming thing going, so I will have more video and graphics and stuff rather than just me getting on here and ranting. So we'll be able to have a lot more things going on here. So anyway, loved ones, if you have not yet, please hit that like button. I so appreciate it if you would do that. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done that. And share this video with someone if you would, please. I would really appreciate that for sure. And besides that, that's all I got. I do love you. I truly do. And I'll be back directly.